Let's get you caught up now on today's coronavirus headlines here at home and around the world. This morning, the U.S. is closing in on 400,000 cases. New York remains the hardest hit area, and yesterday that state reached its biggest one-day death toll yet. The number of cases in our area is on the rise as well. We've reached more than 3,200 cases, but the good news is more than 300 people have made full recoveries. Several of the new local cases are in Porte at the same assisted living facility. Our Michelle Choi joins us now with more on the outbreak there.
Steph, our seniors are among those most at risk for the coronavirus. Unfortunately, we're seeing more and more positive cases popping up at nursing homes and assisted living facilities throughout the Houston area. Most recently at Porte Healthcare Center, a senior living facility in southeast Harris County. We've learned just days ago there were only 5 cases at the center, but as of yesterday, a major jump. 34 employees and residents have now tested positive for COVID-19. That's according to Harris County Public Health. The center says residents have been hospitalized and employees are no longer working at the facility as they work to contain the spread of the virus. In a statement, Porte Healthcare Center said in part, quote, "We continue to take precautionary measures. We must also continue visitation restrictions from families, friends, community partners, vendors, and non-essential persons who are not allowed inside the building during this time." Another facility dealing with a cluster of coronavirus cases, a nursing home in Texas City, where last week 83 employees and residents there tested positive for COVID-19. Guys, back to you.
Michelle, thank you for that update. More Harris County jail staffers tested positive for COVID-19, but now there are new efforts to block the release of inmates. Harris County Judge Lena Hidalgo initially passed an order last week to release 1,000 nonviolent inmates to prevent the virus from spreading throughout the jail. But that order was blocked, and the county appealed the decision. Yesterday, a state senator petitioned a federal judge to block her appeal.
The public just doesn't want to have 1,000 burglars, thieves, and identity forgers and others out on the street. We've got enough problems watching our homes and business, purses and wallets right now. We don't need any more of this.
Officials argue many nonviolent inmates may have violent criminal pasts. So far, 20 jail employees and 3 inmates have tested positive, and more than 50 other inmates are currently in quarantine. 200 test kits have arrived at the jail. They arrived yesterday, so they will continue to do some testing there.
A state park shut down. Great news about our social distancing efforts and an 11-year-old's generosity. Your Rush Block rolls on, starting with how COVID-19 is especially hitting some areas harder.
New data across the country shows that COVID-19 is impacting Black communities the hardest. President Trump calling it disproportional. Numbers for Houston are unavailable, but Mayor Turner says health disparities have always existed in minority populations and are heightened because of the virus.
Governor Greg Abbott has ordered the closure of all state parks and historical sites because of the coronavirus. The closures are part of the state's efforts to strengthen social distancing and preventing gatherings of large groups of people. There's about a dozen state parks and historical sites in the Houston region affected by the governor's order.
A Missouri city councilman is back home after battling the virus in the ICU. Jeffrey Bonney is still recovering because he has a blood clot in his right lung that may take 6 months to heal.
Some good news from the Kinder Institute at Rice University this morning. It appears that stay-home order and all that social distancing is working. Kinder estimates 4,533 lives have already been saved since that stay-home order went into effect on March 24th in Harris County, and more than 48,000 fewer people have had to be hospitalized. If we continue through April 22nd, they estimate 13,220 lives could be saved.
An 11-year-old girl who donated thousands of toys to kids after Harvey is at it again. Lily DeBow started her own nonprofit just a few months after Harvey. She's been donating toys ever since, and now she wants to donate them to the children of first responders and medical workers.
And that's your Rush Block on this Wednesday morning.
You've heard the warnings about people walking around with the coronavirus without knowing they even have it. So how many patients are actually asymptomatic? Janelle Bluda connects the dots.
Dr. Fauci made headlines recently for saying up to 50% of people with coronavirus have no symptoms. So where is that startling number coming from? Let's connect the dots. The one-word answer is Iceland. The picturesque country is doing something not a lot of other places are doing, testing people without symptoms. The program is actually run by Decode, part of a U.S. biotech company. It is testing the general population of Iceland to get a better idea of how coronavirus spreads. This is separate from the National University Hospital in the country, which is testing people who are high risk and have symptoms. Decode is looking for people with no signs of the virus and not in quarantine. The results of those tests show 50% of people diagnosed with coronavirus, at least in Iceland, report no symptoms. The findings could explain why some communities are having such a hard time containing this pandemic. It also explains why officials keep emphasizing social distancing and are asking everyone to wear masks. Connecting the dots, I'm Janelle Beluta for HTownRush.
Janelle, thank you. Remember, you can get the latest on the coronavirus at any time. Just text the word facts to the number on your screen, 713-526-1111, and we'll keep that number for you on the screen all morning.
Hey there, good morning, guys. I am back with another round of shout-outs. The response has been so overwhelming, though. We're trying to do as many as possible. If we don't get to you, maybe we will later in the day, so hold out hope. First, we're kicking things off with a couple first anniversaries. Our own Matt Musil and his wife Rachel, as well as Annette and Juan. I'm sorry, not Annette and Juan. That's Taylor and Nathan Hensley. They are celebrating their first anniversary. Congratulations. There we go. There's Annette and Juan. And then Mark and Christy, they just hit 20 years. Congratulations to both of them. Some milestone birthdays today. We have Joseph, who's turning 1. Joshua is 13. Nyla's 16. Brenda is 60. And Judah, 70. Happy birthday, guys. Braylon Johnson, I don't know if you're watching right now, but if you are, just know that you are very, very loved. Your daughter wanted us to give you a shout out. She says they weren't able to celebrate with you the way they wanted to for your 65th birthday and what might be your upcoming retirement. So they did a whole drive-by. They posted signs in the yard. Just know you are very, very loved and appreciated, and happy belated birthday to you, Braylon. A few more birthdays. Bailey, Amber, Michael and Sydney, very happy birthday to you. If you sent in birthday messages for today, I want you to take a look at your screen right now. Do we have the video, Beth Ann? Maybe? Oh, there it is. Okay. There's just not enough time to do individual shout outs. So we do appreciate everyone who is taking the time to show a little love right now. It goes a long way, especially when we can't have our traditional parties with them. We know we want to celebrate with them. So keep those submissions coming. You can text us a photo, the name of the person, what we're celebrating, if it's a birthday, an anniversary, some other kind of milestone, and when we're celebrating. That number to text it to is 713-526-1111. While you do that, we want to send it over to Cheetah for the one thing you need to know. Cheetah, I'm not prepared for the heat today.